Well, this will be the last time you see the Firebird. As you can see, I totally went through and stripped it. She's a rough cookie. So we're going to take it up to scrap yard. Hopefully get a couple bucks out of it. But I stripped her down pretty good. So found out some more rotted out parts once I removed the rear end. This thing was pretty rough. Alright, so we finally got the 1980 Turbo Trans Am shell in the garage. We finally got the 1980 Firebird stripped and it's gone. So we're going to start working on cleaning up some of this rust and see how bad the floor really is. And this floor here, I got to get this dent out of it where it got pushed up when he picked it up with the forklift. I'm thinking I can take like a hammer and a piece of 2x4 and smush that back down, and we got to repair that hole back there, which I have the piece I cut out of the Firebird. Got some small holage up here. Hopefully when I clean all this rust off, it don't turn to Swiss cheese. It feels pretty solid. That side over there is pretty solid. But I'm going to use this here. It's called Evapor Rust. I've used that on the Mustang, by the way. We got the hood on it. And she's looking flawless. Use that on the floor on it. And if you do, like the instructions say, I think they say you pour it on a paper towel and you can soak your tools and stuff in it. You let it soak wrapped up, and it should remove the rust, which we did on the Mustang floor. But it's got all the instructions back here. So I believe I'm going to use this and spray it on this rust after I take the wire wheel, knock loose this loose paint and surface rust. I'm going to put that Evapor Rust. I guess what I'm going to do is pour it on the floor. They say you can, if you're doing floorboards, I think you pour it and you lay some paper towels, flattened paper towels, to remove air bubbles and cover the wet towels with plastic sheeting to prevent Evapor Rust from drying. Use magnets to hold it down. So anyway, you basically just pour it and you don't want it to dry up. So we'll probably just pour it, put some paper towels, or I might try some old shirts, and then we'll put some, I got some shipping plastic. We'll lay it over it and it should soak into the metal and stop the rust from spreading. Now in the trunk it's a different story. Of course we got this here. Somebody had some Bondo here and looked like they grinded it out, so we'll have to get that all worked out. Looked like they went down to the metal. Trunk, the more I flake at it, the more she's crunchy. We might be able to just replace this section. I really don't want to cut this whole trunk out. We might be able to just come right here along the edge and cut this out. Like I said, this is not going to be a show car. I really don't want to replace this whole trunk floor if I don't have to. But I'm not worried about the trunk right now. Mainly worried about these floors, getting them cleaned up, stop the rust, replace that panel. Like I said, I got it, the one we cut out of the Firebird. This body is really not in too bad a shape as the ones I've been seeing, or as the 1980 blue car I got. It is completely rotted out back here in the back. And like I say, this body can be worked and this car can be brought back to just daily driver style with just a basic paint job, or show car style as the Mustang. It's just all with that pocketbook, that wallet per se. It's all in the wallet, how much money you're willing to spend, which this is just going to be a budget ride for me. We'll have to get up here and probably sandblast all this rust, surface rust. I think somebody took it down to the metal. They started painting on it. And I think they just gave up on the project. They sandblasted the spindles. And I don't know, maybe they found a better body or just gave up on it. I wish I had all the stuff that was in it, but this is how I bought it. With no interior, didn't even have a steering column. This steering column is out of the blue car. So I don't know what the intentions was with it, but anyway, we're gonna try. All think you can do is try and bring it back, try and get it running, and just do what you can. I know it's gonna need this lower quarter on this side. It's got some rust. Good thing is it's not in the trunk area. It's just that wall right there. The other side's good. And it don't have all the stupid holes drilled in the top like the blue car, where the dude had put all those stupid lights. Actually, this trunk lid is off of the Firebird, and because when I got the car, it didn't have the rear spoiler. So this is off of the Firebird. The trunk lid's off the Firebird. I just got to put the rods that's in there is broke. You can see one of them right here. So we just got to take that panel off and put the new rods, which I'm going to do. Actually, the back glass is out of the Firebird too. It's just sitting in here like the original one was that flew out on the way home. But you got to remove this panel to get up under there to replace those rods. And so we're going to do that. So, because once you put the glass in, this panel is up under the glass, and you can't get it out because the screws is up under there, and it's right up under the glass, which is, I don't know why they did that, but anyway, we got enough parts. We got a few little parts to order. What my plan is to get the blue car stripped down and just kind of transfer stuff over the doors, inner fenders, just trying to put this whole shell back together and really see what we're missing. I don't think we're missing much, but my plan is to just make this a car again, just kind of mock it up. And we got the front cap off of the Firebird, which I got another one. So just basically mock it up, see what we're missing, and just, you know, make it look like a car. Another plan of mine was to actually set my 400 motor and transmission, which has been sitting here. I haven't done anything with it. Gotta get it all painted up. I was thinking about setting it over there and firing it up and see how well it run. I was told it ran good. But I don't know yet. My main concern now is stopping this rust and fixing that over there. Luckily it didn't eat through the frame rail when it rusted out. The Firebird, it was completely destroyed when I cut that floor section out. So, but anyway, it's about 40 degrees outside and cold, so I'm gonna get to work cleaning these floors up. We'll get all that rust sanded up and we'll see how good those floors look after that. Dusty. I don't know if it's going to be this dusty. Wow, the surface work. Need to get the top back down. Got some can hose in the metal. And that back there really ain't gonna probably worry about cleaning that up too much. You might have to cut it out. Anyway. But we did get some of the surface rust off the floor. Got a few little pinholes that popped up. Still solid. It's got some pinholes in it. And let it sit outside too long. Let me take this. Ooh, I hate to take this mask off. Let me let some of this dust clear out. Then I can talk. So I removed as much of the surface rust as I could. Found some more pit holes in the floorboard here. You don't know what the rust situation is until you actually remove the surface rust. So we're either going to replace the floor pans or we're going to patch them or some other solution. But I did spray some of that vapor rust. Just sprayed some in here and I'm going to find something and cover it so it won't dry up. Still, this floor over here got some pit holes. Not too bad. Still solid. This one's got like one little pit hole. Of course, we know that's rotted out. Thing still got the mufflers up under it. So anyway, I'm going to find something to cover this up so it can soak. And we'll come back with another wire wheel and try and remove what's left after the vapor rust soaks in. And we'll figure out the situation we're going to do over there on the floor and see if we can make this thing solid inside. So we got the 80 model Trans Am in, and this one's going to be another donor car for the 80 model turbo car. And I'm going to be removing the hood, the fenders, doors, basically the same thing we did on the 80 model Firebird. I'm going to be removing all this stuff to put on the other car up there, the shell. Basically the interior is already in pieces. We're going to rob the wire harness out of it, the seats. Man, every time I look at this car I see more rust. Deck lid, probably deck lid, because this one's got holes in it. Probably just get the wing off, the spoiler I mean, on both ends. I guess we'll get the back glass. Looks like it's going to be caulked in with some, look like a bathroom caulking or something. And whatever else pieces. Playing around with some tail lights. Just put them in there just to make sure everything on the back end was good of this one. Just want to make sure this body's going to be worth using too before I go really getting into fixing it up and then get down and find out that we can't use it. Been letting the floorboard soak with some shirts over the rust remover stuff I sprayed on the metal. I've been spraying it and just kind of letting it soak in, stop all this rust. But my plan is to get the doors off this thing and at least put them on our shell, so while it's sitting outside or whatever, we can kind of keep some of the elements out, since we're going to be working on removing the rust. Because if you put a tarp over it, tarp can blow in or leak and let water in, and I don't want to let water back on those floors while we're working on it. But most definitely another parts car. I hate to strip this one down, but it's a turd. It's going to need a bunch of work. Like I say, floors, this back panel that's been cut out, the back tail light panel, trunk, we got all these holes drilled in the roof, and it's gonna need a windshield. So these fenders, kind of drill some holes there that can be filled in. I mean, this guy had reflectors and everything on this car. This front cap's no good, so it'll be going in the trash. It's basically just hanging on for dear life. So I'm gonna get some tools pulled out. We'll get this hood off, which we're gonna be using this hood. That hood scoop is garbage, where you cut a hole in it. And I'll get some tools out and just start dismantling this one. And like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and put the doors over on this one so we can keep the elements out while it's outside. And go ahead and get this cut up wire harness off. It's no good. Something been chewing on it. And we'll get this one stripped down and send it over to the crusher. Then we'll be able to focus more on this one here. Just gotta get everything tore down to make some room so we can actually work on something better, which will be that one, which I've been over it fine tooth comb. And so anyway, I'm gonna get to work. Well, as you can see, I just ripped the bumper right off. No, it was just kind of hanging out. I guess they had just shoved it back on there. And I got to wiggling it around. I was like, it's not even bolted up. So, but I did get the fender off. It's got a little rot right up in this area, which probably gonna have to find another fender. It can be repaired, but by the time you repair that, you can about found another good fender. I mean, it can be patched, but we'll just see how it goes. I can find one at a decent price because it's not all beat up. I think it's got some wrinkles up here up front. Looks like they had pulled it out with some sheet metal screws or something, or a dent puller. But we'll check that out. I knew it was gonna need a fender on the driver's side. The inner fender's got some rot right at the tip, which we got the inner fenders off the Firebird. Well, that was not good. That door weighs a ton, but I managed to get it over here without dropping it on my foot, breaking my toes. But gotta catch my breath. Got the door on there. Like I said, basically I want to get this one where when I push it outside and cover it up, I won't have to worry about the tarps blowing in and the water getting on the floors, because once I go in and fix the floors and finish treating them and everything, I don't want water getting back on them. But I got the fender off, passenger side. Not looking too good. Somebody smeared a whole bunch of Bondo on there. I thought maybe that was primer, but once I got it off, really looked at it. So, might be getting two fenders. Well, this one's rotted out here too. So, I'm just going to replace both fenders. I'm going to look at possibly buying some new ones. If not, I'll try and find some good used ones. But like I said, I really want to just get the doors put on this one, because I'm gonna finish stripping that one down and try and make it look like a car, all but the fenders. Unless we just stick them on there. But I'm still gonna get all this cleaned up and get some paint on it. Probably replace the upper and lower A-frame bushings, which they don't look bad. They're not all broke up or anything, but we could do that later. At least get it all painted, so when I do put the front cap on and the radiator support, that'll be all painted. Because they sandblasted this frame and then they started painting the front, and that's as far as they got. But starting to look like a car a little bit. Probably hadn't had doors on it, and I don't even know. I don't even know how long the shell's been sitting. I didn't get a good story on it. I think it's just somebody's project they started and got over their head, and this is where it ended up. I wish I had all the other stuff that goes to it. Probably had good fenders and everything, unless they were junk and they just threw them away. But this turd over here is gonna start to come apart slowly but surely. Like I say, we got to get the wire harness out and all this other. I think the seats are just sitting in here. But well, I'm gonna go ahead and work on getting the other door swapped over. Give my back a break, because these things are really heavy. Might try and get some help to put it on. And then I'm gonna continue to strip this one down. Now the motor in this one is locked up, so I'm not even gonna fool with it. Like I said, it's been getting rained on or rained in through this air filter where the shaker scoop was cut. So I thought about messing with it, but they got all this stupid silicone on all the plug wires and all that stuff, and I was just like, you know what? I'm not even gonna try and free that motor up. I'll get the chrome valve covers off if they can clean up, and I'm just gonna let it go, you know. It's got a XL HEI performance coil on it. I don't even know if it's any good. And it's got a, I think it's got a Rochester 4-barrel on it. I haven't even had that breather off. But yeah, this thing here it needs a lot of work. It needs A-frame bushings. That one's all cracked up there, so it needs a lot of work. This the radiator support, rotted out right where the battery sits. So I'm probably going to yank it off, so when we get ready to pull the engine, well, I could leave it on there. Ain't no sense of taking it off. I was going to take it off, so we get ready to pull the engine and transmission. I'm going to pull the engine and transmission anyway, because I want the transmission. And I'm going to get all the accessories off the motor, even though we got it on the 400. But you don't want to throw none of that stuff away, those brackets and stuff. But I think we can get it out easy, because it won't have the nose on it. And actually, I'm going to take this too, this crash bar or bumper or whatever you want to call it, because the Firebird had mismatched bolts and spacers, so I'm going to use all that. And I don't know, we'll go through the engine bay, what's left of it, see what we can get. I know we got to get the wire harness, because this one's got a good harness. All the light wires are intact, the sockets, which that wire harness was junk, which is over here. So look like somebody's been chewing on it or something. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and finish snatching this stuff off try and get this thing pretty much stripped down, and we will pick up on this project little by little. So you guys just hang out, and I guess that's it. Just hang out. So if I don't do anything else that's worth showing, this will be the end of the video. But if I find something sketchy while I'm doing this, I'll continue on. I might. I don't know. I don't want to make just a boring video of stripping a car, but you never know what you might find on these old cars. So anyway. Alright, so I got the radiator support and that crash bar that goes behind the front cap down there. Got it off. Started unhooking everything on the engine. This thing's got wires for days to be an old car, but started unhooking the harness. I just unplugged it from the firewall. Just one big plug right here. What I'm gonna do, since I don't feel like being up under there with all the spiders and grass dropping in my face, bugs and twigs and whatever, I'm just gonna leave the harness on the engine. The starter's still hooked up, so I'm basically just gonna leave the harness tucked up there, because I'm going to pull the motor and transmission out together, and then once we get the motor and transmission out, we can undo the wires from the starter. That's basically the only thing that's hooked up. I think the starter and possibly wires at the transmission. Well, I'm just going to leave the harness tucked up here. I might need to remove the fuel pump so I can get to the motor mount bolt that's down there. I can see it. I might be able to get a wrench. It's right there. The light at, that's the motor mount. I might be able to get a wrench on this side. The nut is actually on the other side, and I really didn't want to be up under this thing. It is so filthy and dirty. This side will be easy because there's the motor mount right there, so I can easily get a socket or something and ratchet on this side. I might remove all the accessories, water pump, not water pump, fan, power steering and alternator. Actually, I gotta remove the power steering lines. He's got all these stupid custom bolt covers on over every screw. I've been prying them off to get to the bolts. He's got them all the way around on the water pump. So you need to change the water pump, you have to pry all these little caps off. They're everywhere. There's one there, there's one there. They're just on every nut and bolt, even on back of the fan. He must have bought a whole briefcase of these things. And on the thermostat housing, you can't even see the screw, and they're on there too. You gotta pry them off. I've never seen those before. It must be some kind of old school customized accessories you can buy. He's even got them on the proportionate valve for the brakes. You can't see any screw on this thing if you don't pry them off. But anyway, so this engine's locked up, and so I'm not even going to fool with trying to free it up to get the torque converter bolts loose. I'm just going to pull the whole unit out, set it on the ground, and split it. This thing's been getting rained in. Look at the amount of magnet steel or JB Weld he's got going to the front of the carburetor. This thing must have had a real bad leak. Looks like some fiberglass or silicone. I mean, he just siliconed the fuel line to the carburetor. The guy that had this car was a real genius. But anyway, we're getting her stripped. So we got the interior basically gutted. Got all the seats out. And like I said, the dash was already taken out, which is right here. And I don't know if you've seen it, but this thing is pretty chewy. It's rough. I don't even think it'd be worth putting an overlay over it. But the harness inside looks pretty good. Got a couple of cut wires. I think it's over there where the radio goes, which is already always cut. So we'll be getting the harness out. And now you can really see that back panel where he cut out the back seat brace and the back package tray, I guess you call it, on these. And he put this stupid, looks like a 3/4 inch plywood. He cut some speaker holes and just kind of shoved it up in there. That was stupid. Just cut the whole back of the car out. That made another reason why I didn't really want to build this car, because it's just too rough. I haven't raised the carpet up. I know it's got some holes. It's got that sound deadening stuff. From the bottom you can see holes in the floor. But anyway, I'm gonna get this lump ready to come out. Start hooking some more stuff and get this out of here. And we'll move along, getting the rest of the wire harness out. Move along to the inside. And yeah, so just hang tight. Like I say, moving slowly. We did manage to get the doors on this unit here, which opens and closes. That side over there, I gotta fix the door latch because you have to stick a screwdriver down in there to make it open. But got the doors on anyway, so I'm gonna get back to work. I'll get everything set up and we'll yank it out. All right. So finally got everything unhooked on this big rust locked up motor. Got all the wiring unhooked except for the starter. I'm just gonna leave that on there because what's up under there, a lot of rust and stuff dropping in my face. But we got the motor mounts unhooked. The good thing about these motor mounts, they don't have a nut on the back side. They actually have a nut that's welded onto the mount. So you just pull the bolt right out. You don't have to worry about putting a wrench on the other side. And we got the old exhaust out. I don't know what kind of mufflers those are. Never seen nothing like that before. I would say cherry bomb, but cherry bombs are usually smooth and kind of longer than that. I don't know what those are, but broke a couple of studs off the manifold, getting the nuts off, which I knew that because it's so rusty. Got the drive shaft out, cross member undone, out. This thing got some good transmission fluid in it. I got a stubby, the stubby yoke part off the drive shaft I had stuck in the transmission right now, keep it from draining. But the fluid don't look bad at all. It's nice and red. It's not dark looking. It's full. So this transmission probably was working fine. Like I said, I was told the engine ran before the guy set it up was going to call itself restoring it. Is that how you do it? Restoring. And it rained down the carburetor, but it's locked up solid. The water pump was kind of locked. You can hear the bearings. And I was like, oh, it's just the water pump. Took all that stuff off and it still won't turn over. And it had water up in the back part of the mufflers when I took them off and tilted them up under the car. So it's got water in that engine. Like I said, I'm not gonna fool with it anyway. But I'm gonna go ahead and yank this load out of here and get that transmission unhooked. And we'll have to fiddle with the bell, not the bell housing, but the torque converter bolts. So I'm gonna have to just pull the transmission off, leave the torque converter bolted to the back of the engine and get the bolts off. And I think I'm gonna keep these valve covers. I think they will clean up the little mothers or turtle wax, chrome polish. These might clean up. I think I might put those over on the 400. I don't know about these though. They're kind of toasty. I might hold on to the valve covers. I think we can polish those out. But that carburetor, that is just ridiculous. The JB Weld, that you can see a big clamp up under there. So that was stupid. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and yank this thing out of there. She put up a fight, but she came out. The starter was catching the motor mount on this side, and I kept yanking and pulling, didn't realize that this ground cable was grounded over to the frame, and I was like, what is holding it up? Ooh, look at the manifold. Wow, that's a rusty manifold. Somebody tried to weld that, look like. Did they try to weld the manifold? I don't know what's up with that. It actually bumped the frame over here coming up. I didn't know it broke it. So that's another stud down. This engine is rough. But it's out. So now I'm going to get the transmission split. I'm hoping this is a 350. It should be a 350 transmission. I think when I checked the VIN, it said it came with a 350 transmission. Just look at all the pine needles and dirt daubers. I don't think this engine's ever been out. This oil filter got a date on it. Warner. Never heard of that oil filter. But it used to have the emissions on it, because you see that they cut it all off and closed in those pipes that used to go down to the exhaust. I think this car came with a converter on it. Early 80s is when they had pollution pumps and converters and all that old other mess. I didn't see a computer in there though, so maybe it didn't have one. Maybe 80, they didn't put a computer on it. I know the Firebird I had in here, it was an 80 and it had a computer hanging under the dash. So, but anyway, this is out. I'm gonna get the transmission split from it, and then we'll get that torque converter off, and got this engine given to somebody. I'm gonna give it to them, and they can do what they want to do with it, and we'll move on to getting what else on the frame or the body that we need, and we'll be ready to send this thing on to the scrap pit, send it on down the road. So I'm gonna go ahead and snatch this tranny off. I'm I'm gonna get the starter off because I got to get the harness. Probably just leave the starter on there. I got a new one on the other motor. We just get these wires loose right here, and this whole harness will come off. All right, we're gonna pull this valve cover off, see what's up under here. Ooh, got a lot of sludge. We clean that out though.
Yeah.
Sludge Central, folks. Running bad oil. Pretty much know what the other side gonna look like. So, hey, I'm gonna keep this gasket. No. But I'm gonna finish getting the other valve cover off, and y'all can say goodbye to this motor because it's going somewhere else. And we got the transmission off and the torque converter. So, all right, that's gonna be it. So that's going to be it for this old motor. Like I said, he's fixing to load it on the truck. He's going to take it home and play with it, see can he free it up, and maybe he can do something with it. But that's going to be it for today. That's going to be it for this episode. So you can see the amount of sludge that's in here compared to that other motor. Just look at these valve covers that came off the other motor. So y'all like, share, subscribe. Keep looking out for more content on this thing or that thing out there. And we'll get back with y'all later. And y'all be safe out there. Leave some comments and take it easy. I'll let y'all later.